Hi, Internet. This is my second video, the who and the what of Setian Magick. First I have to explain who Set is. Um, Set in Egypt is where he originates, at least in earthly form, or worldly form, as they would say. Um, Evidence shows up in titles of pharaohs because he was considered a source of power. Pharaohs assigned names of deities to their names and titles sometimes in Egypt in order to attain or maintain power over their kingship or their kingdom. And I could get into that more in depth at another time if someone wants to talk about it, because it's a fascinating topic, Egyptology. His archetype in survives beyond Egypt in different forms. So in Greek, he's equated to Typhon, and that, of course, carries on into Roman and European, Western understanding of polytheistic deities. And then there's a lot of monotheistic whitewashing that may or may not affect your belief. I don't want to get too into beliefs either, because that's such a personal thing for every person. And as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what you believe. If you want to practice Setian magic, there's a way. So you may, as far as I'm concerned. In Thelema, he exists as part of their main deity, because they're more of like a monotheistic to henotheistic system in terms of they believe in a lot of different deities, but they don't, they don't treat them equally magically, if that makes sense. And this is one of the problems with monotheism, is the idea that you only get one deity for your magic, and that's it. And I, as a Buddhist, think that's absurd, personally. Again, so Ra Hur Kut is their main trifecta of deity, if you will. So it's actually a 3-in-1 concept, and Set's portion is Kut, which is the dark portion. So they have basically a trinity, and a lot of Christians might understand this Father, Son, Holy Ghost thing. And yeah, so Thelema itself is a complicated system, but that's how some of this idea of Setian magic was carried on into modern times. His transmitters in our time, in this eon, as they would say, there's two really important ones. This is beyond the pharaohs, beyond the Greek, beyond the, history of where Set originated, or Setian magicians originated. Two main guys from the 70s, Kenneth Grant and Dr. Michael Aquino from the Temple of Set. Both were using Thelemic style magic in their system. And they weren't really part of the OTO, but that's another story of how they came to become magicians in this aeon. So Kenneth Grant was convinced he was invoking alternate realities through Set, and which he called tunnels, And he was just a really important guy because he influenced a lot of people, and he was influenced by Austin Osman Spare and a lot of different um, important black brothers in the magician's world of modern times. And he wrote a bunch of books on the topic, um, and influenced just a lot of people, chaos magicians, and so forth, um, in the UK. And then over here on this side of the pond, we have Dr. Michael Aquino, who started off as a member of the Church of Satan and then broke away and started his own order, the Temple of Set, because he was so inspired by Set and the magic he was using to invoke him that he felt that he was chosen to bring forth Set's power into this aeon, which he certainly did achieve. So how he did it was kind of amazing. He just knew the right people, having the connections he did, and because of this connection, it was discovered by Don Webb that the Greek magical papyri, one that was dated way back to the Greek and Egyptian times, the Ptolemaic period, had an actual spell that we could read and translate. And so let me backtrack a little bit. So during the ancient Egyptian times, we really don't know what kind of language, or we don't know a lot about their writing system and what exactly they were saying. And magic back then was in a bunch of different languages. So we just go back into history to literary archaeology, which is where we source most of the magical stuff that we do anyway. And the Greek magical papyri is a specific set of invocations to Set Typhon in Greek, and it's part of the Hermetic corpus, if you will, which is also used by the Thelema and other magicians in modern history. So they were kind of handpicked by these occultists. The rites of Set Typhon included self-initiation, the barbarous names, opening of the mouth or vault, and invocation rituals. This is what Setian Magick is. It's a supplication and communication, essentially, which could translate over to divination if there's like a conversation involved, and then you're basically training your mind to have a conversation with the divine through these operations. And then whether or not you have results is up to you. But really what it is what's happening in your mind is really the most important thing you should be paying attention to after you do an invocation. Because that's truly where, like, the meat and bones of what you're doing when you perform magic is. It's the things you utter with your mouth, and then the things that your mind transmits. So I use the word transmission because it's really important, because it's like a conversation you're having with the deity. That's what makes magic different than religion, is it's way more of a personal experience than just sitting in a church and doing what everyone else is doing. So yeah, it's heavily tied into your beliefs and faith, but I set those aside because it is possible to have a different set of those from one individual to the next and still perform Setian magic and see what happens. And so I hope you enjoyed this video of the who and the what about Setian Magick and how it came to be. And in the next video, I will get into the mechanics of exactly how you could do this. However short and to brief. All right, thank you.